circadian rhythm. We hear that term a lot and we think, oh, sleep wake cycle. It's so much more than that. Every cell in our body has this circadian clock. And the idea of the circadian rhythm is that we want to sync our body's clock to what's happening outside of our window. It's not we have to sync on our work clock or like my kids' schedule. It's like we want everyone's schedule to be on the schedule of the sun. And that's our master clock. And so I sort of alluded to how this happens is with that blue light actually in the sun. We hear a lot of things about like blue light is bad. Well, it's only bad at the wrong time. When the sun comes up, the sun has blue light in it. And that blue light, it tells our body this is the time it is. If I look out my window right now, I have it cracked open. My body knows that it's about, 1:00 in Austin, Texas in the month of October. Like it can get that information from the light outside. And that helps it orient itself. So it's like, oh, 1:00. Yep. I know what to do. I'll do all my 1:00 stuff. So it's going to, raise my cortisol. My cortisol should be, starting to come down because we're after that solar noon and my body's okay with, digesting my meal because I just had lunch and I can think clearly and articulate my words. And then it knows that, okay, in a couple of hours, we're going to wind that down. And then the blue light is going to go away. So all the natural blue light in our environment, it should only be present when the sun is up during daytime. Other than that, historically, there was no blue light in a human's environment, in an environment on planet Earth. And so that darkness then is an important signal. And that darkness is a beautiful signal for our cortisol to fully come down and melatonin to start rising. And melatonin we associate with sleep, but it is also involved in almost every single repair process in our bodies. And this is a piece that a lot of us are missing. You have leaky gut, you have inflammation, we need to heal and repair our bodies. So the brightness of day, really important. The darkness of night, really important to help orient us to what time it is so we know what to do. So is that making sense so far?
Oh my God, love it. Yeah. So diurnal species, the opposite of nocturnal. So I love this. I think you're right. Like so many of us can hear circadian rhythm and we're like, great, I'm awake during the day and I'm asleep at night. And there's a sliding scale of what that looks like in most people's homes. However, there's this whole innate intelligence process that's happening and like hundreds of thousands of things are happening in our body without us paying attention to them because it's light. Yep. And hundreds of thousands of things that are important for our survival and how we feel because it's night. What I'm hearing you say is that when we confuse our body and when we have light sources, when the sun is down, we are going to have negative impacts, not only in no wonder why we have insomnia or our kids are fighting bedtime every night and then don't want to wake up in the morning, or we have like nightmares or those thoughts that come up in the middle of the night, worst case scenarios. There are underlying things happening in our bodies as well that either are or aren't possible because of this mishap. Walk me through, like if you were to go through someone's home, maybe, and you were like Detective Danny, and you have your checklist. What kinds of things would you see that you'd be like, oh, I bet you didn't consider that. Like that is impacting your ability to make melatonin.
I think we should start with daytime because I think it's important to understand the different types of light that comes from the sun. And then when that sun goes away, there's light that we should no longer be experiencing in our environment. And those are the things we're going to see and some stuff during the daytime too, that's going to be impacting. It's going to be telling our body it's daytime when it's really nighttime. And that's going to be confusing our body. We're going to get the wrong signals, not only mixed messages, we're getting just the wrong signals. In the morning, when the sun is first rising, that's when we get a huge amount of infrared and red light. So infrared light makes up about 49% of the sun's rays at its peak. But when it's lower in the sky, the percentage is higher. And infrared light, I have a infrared light therapy panel behind me. You hear red light therapy, all that stuff. We know that that type of light is so healing that we've made devices to add it back into our environment.
Hey, we'll get right back to the episode, but I want to share one of my favorite incredible tools with you. You know, I'm all about sharing the tools that help make me feel as good as possible in the easiest way, right? So that's why I'm obsessed with the Sauna Space Glow Light. Our whole family loves it. And it's like having the benefits of morning and evening sunlight without having to step outside, especially when it's just not accessible, whether the weather is too cold or you're stuck at work all day. The red light therapy uses infrared technology to boost your energy, mood, and even your sleep. This is perfect for those days when you can't get outside but still want all the benefits of the natural light. I use this to start my day feeling grounded or to help me and our family wind down at night. It's so simple and easy to incorporate into your routine. If you've been wanting an easy way to bring the power of infrared technology into your life, check the links in the show description for my epic discount on Glow Light by Sauna Space. Now back to the show.
And so I propose that we all have an infrared light deficiency. And you may say, well, Danny, I have tons of natural light in my house. Well, unfortunately, windows block out a ton of infrared light in the name of energy efficiency. Our light bulbs also have been changed, if you've noticed, over the last decade or so, that they've now all been switched to these horrendous LED lights instead of incandescent lights that we grew up with. So all of the infrared, so much of it has been taken out of our environment in the name of energy efficiency. And infrared is about 50% of what the sun makes. The sun gives life to all life on Earth. It's probably pretty important, right? Just reflecting on that, it's like, that's probably pretty important.
Right. Let's just keep it simple. Yeah. Like, why would we block this?
Yeah. Our melatonin, we talk about as something at nighttime, and it's important that the melatonin is released and everything from the darkness. But 95% of our melatonin is made during the day from infrared light. 95%. Hello. Insane, right? So infrared light does so many amazing things for the body, very healing and soothing. And it has a lot of repair and helps with the skin, helps heal tissues. And I mean, there's just tons and tons of benefits of this light. It helps wound healing, circulation, it supports the immune system, stress reduction, and it supports mitochondria to make them more efficient at burning glucose. Therefore, it lowers our blood sugar levels. So that's really, really cool. The red light, which is also out in the morning a lot, but also in the sun all day long, has similar benefits to the infrared, but it's more for superficial tissues because it doesn't penetrate as deeply. And so it's helpful for skin health, hair growth, reducing signs of aging, helping nerve pain, thyroid health, things like that. So if you want the benefits of a red light therapy panel for free, I recommend waking up and going outside and getting this light in your eyes first thing in the morning. And so the infrared and red light is really powerful that it's available in such high quantities at sunset. And another really important piece of this is that at sunrise, this is the first time blue light is available in our environment. And notice whenever there's blue light in our natural environment from the sun, it is always paired with red and infrared. You cannot separate those things. So the blue is always with red and infrared, and that helps to balance it out because blue by itself tells the body to produce cortisol. It raises blood sugar, even in the absence of food. And that is all going to raise our insulin levels. So when it's paired together, the blue light with all the red and infrared, remember I said infrared lowers blood glucose levels. Mm-hmm. So if the blue light from the sun starts gradually rising as the sun is rising in the sky, it's nice and gentle and gradual. And that's what we want our cortisol curves to look like, right? Our stress hormones. We don't want a giant burst of a stress hormone in the morning and a giant burst of our blood glucose. If you've ever measured your blood sugar and you notice your fasting blood sugar is just high, oftentimes this is an infrared light deficiency. And it's because we're flipping on lights that are high in blue light without the infrared to mellow it out, to balance it out. So walking through someone's house, I may find that what's the first thing they do in the morning? Look at their phone, flip on a light, open the fridge. I have literally red tape, like clear tape over all the lights in my fridge because I don't want to disrupt my circadian rhythm. So
Wait, what kind of tape? Red,
it's
clear, like a red duct tape?
it's like a translucent red tape that I found on Amazon. In the morning, seeing sunrise is just the most powerful thing we can do because it's going to set our circadian rhythm and it's going to give us this beautiful, gentle rise of all the correct hormones. It's going to give this really important signaling to our body. And the blue light also tells our body to produce pregnenolone, which is a precursor hormone to our other sex hormones as well. So as we age, especially as women, we're finding that our amount of hormones is lowering and our cortisol oftentimes is really high. So we're getting often that like pregnenolone steal, it's called, where all that what was going to be made into sex hormones is now shuttled into stress hormones. And so to give ourselves less of a stress response and more of the precursor to the other female hormones, more morning sunlight. And when you watch the sun come up, just be mindful that you don't have to actually see the sun crossing the horizon. Just sky gaze east. If there's trees, buildings, mountains in the way, it doesn't matter. Light bends and you are getting the correct signal in your eyes. And again, you have to open a window. We don't want glass in the way because glasses, contact, they will actually interfere with how the light comes into your eyes. And just keeping your house in sunset mode, which we'll talk about, we want to do that anytime the sun is down. So even in the morning. So we'll get into sunset mode in a bit. And then even if it's cloudy, rainy, foggy, important to get outside or at least open a window so you can get that signal into your eyes. And the more obscured the sun is from clouds or fog or something, the more time you need to get that signal, but it's still going to be the correct signal. So that is one of the most important things you can do for your health is that morning light. After the sun sets, ideally we want to stop eating before the sun sets. That's ideal. So maybe that's a long-term goal for some people. And maybe that just doesn't happen depending on where you live in the world. Like if you live in Norway or Sweden, it's like, good luck eating when the sun's not going to come out for a long time. So do the best you can with this. But what's really important is that after the sun goes down, there should be no more blue light in our environment. But what do? We flip on lights. We're still on our devices. We turn on the TV and we are loading our environment with blue light. And this light is telling our body, raise cortisol, raise blood sugar, raise insulin. It's daytime, do daytime stuff. And this is driving so much metabolic dysfunction. Ladies, the risk of breast cancer is so highly linked and correlated with the use of blue light at night. Like it is still October as of this recording, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My biggest message to you all is get rid of blue light in your environment or mitigate that light at night. And I'm going to tell you how right now. So what kind of light did we have access to as early humans? We had access to fire. And those hues, the orange, amber, red hues, as long as they're dim enough, because also, any bright light is going to stimulate us. But if it's dim enough, that will not interfere with our circadian rhythm. So thinking about, we can use things like orange lens, blue blocking glasses to mitigate that light. It takes all the blue out and most of the green. And we want to think about having fire toned lighting in our home. So orange light bulbs, red light bulbs, Himalayan salt lamps, even incandescent decorative bulbs, because you can still get them sort of in like a decorative section, and things like unscented beeswax candles, fire when it's, appropriate. These are the things that we want to light up our environment with so that it doesn't impact our circadian rhythm and so that we can promote maximum melatonin release and so we can restore. And one of the things we can do is, for example, if we can set up our phone 1, 2, 3, you can click it 3 times. You can set it up to have a red filter on it so you're not interfering there. And, we want to make it so everyone can see. That's the most important thing, because chances are your husband's going to get really angry if he can't see. So you don't want to have people knocking into stuff. So there's a lot of different like night lights that we can get, or motion lights that you can get that are blue free, but allow you to see your environment. So I have little red motion lights in the bathroom. So if I, get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I'm not tripping and stubbing my toe, right? So we want to make this doable for people. But again, a really important takeaway is that we want bright days. We want to get that sunlight into our eyes without blocking it. And then we want to have really dark nights. So we want to have this dim evening and then the complete absence of light in our bedroom at night. You should not be able to see your hand in front of your face. This is really important for that maximal restoration, healing, repairing, to allow your body to have that really deep healing and repair and rest so that you can wake up more refreshed for the next day.
If you liked this, you'll enjoy the full version, and you can get that simply by clicking here.